Okay. And if you decide you need headphones, we got some right over there for you. We're covering every which angle. Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hopefully, we had some problem with video, so we'll be making sure that the sound is running as well.
Audio this time.
But yeah, welcome to Roundtable. It is the first Wednesday of the month, which has meant virtually nothing here for a while.
Would it help if I said I was sorry?
Well,
I'm sorry.
well, he's Randy Lynch. I'm BJ Ramirez, and today, finally, we have Trevor. I forgot your last name.
Cooper.
Trevor Cooper from Zia Comics here in Las Cruces.
Yeah.
And now apparently it's not just Las Cruces.
Yeah. So they're going to be opening Alamogordo.
Yeah.
So there's a second location opening on the other side of the mountain.
So you're leaving us.
Yeah.
There we go.
But it'll probably be sometime, later on this year.
Yeah.
I'm thinking probably late spring, early summer at the earliest.
So are you relocating? Or?
Yeah, I'll be moving up there.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I'm essentially going to be running that one full time.
Oh.
So but it's nice. I get to check it out. It's a nice little shop they got up there. It's right on their new main street on New York Avenue.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
They're kind of doing their own little downtown nightlife thing. They're starting to get going.
Oh, they're okay.
That's
cool.
kind of like revitalizing what they did in Cruces.
Right.
Which they kind of need because it's a nice little downtown. It used to, it was never really hopping, but there was stuff going on.
Yeah. Well, they just put like a new live performance center across the street. It's like a music venue cabaret thing, like right across the street from the store. So
that awesome.
Wow,
I know what I'll be doing.
How do you keep ending up at? Because this one here is right across from the plaza. So you just ended up at another one just like it. Very cool.
Well, and there's so much that's going on out here. We were talking about. I wonder if you got to watch them. We were talking about you last week because the parkour guys are back out and doing their thing. It's not warm enough.
Every time I see that, I'm like, all right, take your Ritalin and quit jumping off the building.
all I ever remember is the Office. I don't know if anyone ever watched The Office. There's an episode where they decide they want to learn parkour, and it involves them like running up like parking pylons, like running up on one of those and jumping off and like spinning in the air. Parkour.
Yes.
Like what? Try and jump up a wall. Parkour.
Yeah. And there was some movie where they did it. They were God, what was that movie? They were assassins that were hired, but they were parkour guys. And they were doing that every time they do a jump or something. They'd yell parkour, and then after they talk to the bad guy, they're like, "You mind if we use the roof instead of the front door?" It's like, okay, great.
That's good.
I wish I could remember what that movie was. I was just watching the video not too many days back. I was like, "That's just funny as all get out."
Well.
But yeah, no disrespect to any parkourers watching.
I mean, that's an incredible ability, an incredible talent. A little nuts, and you have to be. I think you have to be a little nuts to do that.
When I tried to jump off the roof, my mom yelled at me. That's all I'm saying.
There's a great meme where you see a kid. It's a black and white picture, and you'll see a kid on his bike, jumping over, I guess, his friends. There's a ramp and he's doing the Evel Knievel thing. I did that. Yeah. And I jumped over 3 and I was getting ready to tell 2 more to lay down. But my mother came out. She saw me and all she could muster out was, "Put that away. Get in the house." Well, to this day, I was 6. I am now 51. And to this day, you mention the name Evel Knievel and my mother gives me a dirty look.
Well, and as far as jumping off the roof, everybody knows kids do not jump off the roof unless you tie something around your neck like a cape. It's the only way that it's safe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It helps slow the descent. Or if you have an umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Poppins taught us
That's right.
Yes. Yeah, Mary Poppins. Creepy. Creepy.
A little bit.
One of my favorite movies. I played Bert in my production show. We did a short Mary Poppins part. I played Bert. So they first hear me sing La Bamba.
Oh, nice.
And then I come out and I talk with an English accent like Bert.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Excellent.
I had people come up to me afterwards like, all right, they just wanted to hear me talk so I could figure out where the heck I'm from.
Yeah. Well, that's where you want to put on an accent while you're doing that. Yeah, and speaking about accents, it's something we'll just jump into it.
Mhm.
One of the greatest shows that's on right now as far as a comic book show, and they just finished the season. Season 1 of Peacemaker is up on HBO Max.
Okay.
It is so good. It is not for kids. Be aware, it is not for kids.
Nope.
It is not for certain adults. But
if you saw the Suicide Squad,
yeah,
then you know
it's a continuation, and it's so off the wall and wrong. And basically, James Gunn is given free reign to do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a guy in there playing a character that I was surprised. Vigilante makes an appearance in a big appearance in the series, and the guy that's playing him is English.
Okay.
Apparently, John Cena had to go and talk to James Gunn and said, "Is it true that he's English?" After the show was done, because even when he wasn't playing the character on screen, he never dropped the American accent.
Yeah.
So he had no idea until it was all done. And they've been hanging out and talking and such.
It is so funny because we just watched an episode of NCIS, and on NCIS Hawaii, and on there was a guy that played in Hawaii 5-0, the remake. Okay, and in there he was this Navy kid, and he talked funny, And I thought he was from somewhere in the States, and to me he talked a little funny. Well, in this show he's from New Zealand, and his New Zealand accent is spot on. And I'm thinking, going, wait a minute, and it turns out he actually is from New Zealand, and he hid his accent in Hawaii 5-0. That's why I thought he talked a little funny, because he was just slowing down a little bit and making sure he pronounced everything. I just thought he was just a weird kid, But now it's like, and he was, because when he talked in his regular voice, a little faster, a little more animated, a little more. He was funny. And I was like, oh, okay. Too bad they didn't let him do it in the other one, but New Zealand accent, Navy SEAL didn't work. But
that accent is just so damn cool.
Yeah.
And it's become a mainstay into American culture here recently. Of course, we have all the Star Wars stuff, starting with the Clone Wars movies, where you had Jango Fett. He was New Zealand. He was in whatever you call it, Kiwi. Yeah. Okay. He's also now playing Boba Fett. Yeah. Same actor. You've got the animated Star Wars stuff, which had a ton of New Zealand actors, including the new Bad Batch. Has them all in there, and then of course you have Taika Waititi. Oh my God!
Wait, say that again.
Taika Waititi. You have seen him. You have seen him in
and seen his directing.
Yeah, he directs like crazy. The Thor movies.
Okay.
Ragnarok.
The best part about that movie. Hi, I'm Kog. I'm made of rocks. I don't let that.
Piss off, ghost. He was also in the Suicide Squad as Ratcatcher.
Yes.
Oh.
The dad for the girl. He's in like the one scene, the flashback she has. And What We Do in the Shadows.
He's the one that did the movie, and he's involved in the TV series, although not as directly. Yeah. He's also another show they're doing on FX as well, Reservation Dogs, which is about a bunch of kids on a res, and funny and dark and really, really good. He's also the bad guy in a movie that just hit Disney Plus streaming. If you haven't seen Free Guy, you need to see Free Guy. Yeah. Okay. Oh my God. I figured, this will be fun. No, it's fun, but it's a really good movie. Yeah. It hit me right in the feels, and I don't have any feels. I had my heart removed a long time ago. So it's just awesome. And everything that Taika does, I watch because he's amazing. He's a big kid apparently on the sets, especially the more sci-fi sets. They were talking about Thor Ragnarok, and apparently all he wanted to do when they weren't shooting was play with people on the sets. He'd be like, I'm gonna go play, you want to come with? And it wasn't a case of we're gonna take a look at the set and see, no, he was playing like a little kid. He just loved he's a kid at heart, and brilliant. He knows what he's doing, but he also has this great sense of humor, and as the villain in Free Guy, I was just like, oh yeah, I like this a lot. Cool. So before we get too nerdy, though, somebody has had a bunch of pictures up on their Facebook
Yes.
of this cute little squishy face, and it's so adorable. That's just BJ and his pictures getting ready for his next gig.
Yeah,
but he's also had some pictures of his new grandbaby.
Yes, a new granddaughter last Wednesday.
Excellent. Congratulations,
Nia Jackson. It has been a lot of fun. My 6-year-old there's my youngest daughter and her husband are staying with us right now. He just got back from deployment, and now he's got to do another training mission. So they're going to be with us for another month or two before they decide to get their own place. So it's been nice having my 6-year-old granddaughter around for the last 8 months, but to see her with her little sister it's
adorable.
And the most amazing, I thought that was the cutest, most adorable thing ever was when she wants to hold the baby all the time, and she's really good with her, and she's a tiny little thing. Well, yesterday had a couple clients. I get home, I was sitting on the couch in the living room, and my granddaughter, my 6-year-old granddaughter, Camille, comes out of the room holding Nia, who's barely a week old now, and she says to me, "Grandpa, you need to spend time with your granddaughter," and comes over and hands her to me. Oh my gosh. It was the absolute most adorable thing. It's been great. Jeez. Nia was 6 pounds, 1 ounce. It's a tiny little thing, but everything is great. Her lungs are fantastic because mom was giving her a bath, and apparently she did not like it. So she was letting mom know, and wow. Yeah, her lungs are fine.
Now, does she cry on pitch?
No, not quite yet, but Grandpa's going to work on that.
Work on it. Yeah.
Right, you can tell when the fist goes up to the ear when they start to scream. They're trying to find the where's my key.
Oh yeah, when they start hitting the Mariah Carey notes. Back off a little bit.
Oh my gosh, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. She's been wonderful, just holding her, and she's barely a week, and it's like you're looking at this and like my daughter.
Yeah,
this belongs to my daughter, who, when I met my wife, she was 2.5. So it was like, wow, it's kind of neat seeing this.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, people don't do the math.
Yeah. So my youngest daughter is 25, and so it's been a long, and it's raising our being around our granddaughter, her 6-year-old, has been like, wow, this is like racing Felicia all over again, because she's just like her mother. When she was a baby, before she was talking, my daughter would always go, gosh, she looks just like her dad. She looks just like her dad. What is this really my daughter? And then when Camille started talking, it was like, there I am. We're like, there you are.
Very cool.
So, but yes, that's what we've been doing.
Excellent.
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 Oh yeah.
Okay. This is going to be a bad show today.
Oh, yeah.
This is several months of pent-up nerdiness.
It's like the pent-up nerdiness is going to come out.
Of course, we do want to talk on the nerdy side. Book of Boba Fett finished up.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And it was phenomenal.
The only complaint that I would have about it is that they could have done it in 2, maybe even 3 episodes. It did seem like they kind of fit a lot into one episode. I get it, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was fun. I loved it.
Trevor, have you had a chance to watch
I haven't. So I haven't even watched Mando. I know about most of it because
you read it all, but
everyone wants to talk about it. So I learned about the spoilers and the big reveals and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You got to catch up on it just to see. First of all, Ahsoka in live action is awesome.
Yeah.
And in Boba Fett, Cad Bane in live action is awesome. They did a really good job on him. And I believe they got the same voice actor to do the voice.
Okay.
It's just right there.
Excellent.
I don't know how they fit that, because the scene where he showed up and he started talking, you get chilled. That was one creepy character.
Oh yeah. He's hardcore. He's hardcore in ways that Boba Fett never was.
Yeah.
And basically completely built off of the idea of spaghetti westerns by Dave Filoni. He loved the idea of that, and he says, we're going to do this. Let's create a new bounty hunter, and let's make it like this, because originally there were not supposed to be bounty hunters for the most part in the animated series. And they were like, well, the stories are kind of going this way, so do we want to use the ones that exist? And he's like, I kind of want to do something new. So this is very much a Clint Eastwood type character.
And it's funny because I remember when we were watching the Mandalorian,
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking, man, this is like, there was a show on, I want to say CBS, right? Anyway, called Person of Interest.
Yeah.
And there was that guy, John Reese. Oh, the Mandalorian totally reminded me of John Reese.
Mhm.
Totally reminded me of that character. When I told my wife, I said, "You'll like this." She goes, "It's Star Wars." I said, "Try it." Well, when she watched it with my son, she goes, "Oh my gosh, you're right. You're actually right. That doesn't happen." But when your wife says you're right, that's cool. But it was, I enjoyed it. I had a friend of mine from high school. He just bashed the Boba Fett series over. I was like,
there have been a lot of people that have.
Yeah. And I don't know. To me, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. I couldn't wait to start it. And it's like for the last one, I wanted to make sure I was going to start it and be able to watch the entire episode. So it took me a week to get to it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great.
It was. They did a really good job all the way through. They threw in stuff with the Mandalorian because the new season of Mandalorian is coming. So they're priming you into that. And because you had so much Mando stuff in Book of Boba Fett, they opened the door. Hey, you could have Boba Fett. You could have
Boba Fett could be a key role in the
Ming-Na's character.
Ming-Na Wen.
Yeah. Love her. I love her. The more I've gotten to know about her, I love her.
So solid.
I now want to meet her because we have the same twisted, messed up, wrong sense of humor. Apparently she has what's called Mingisms when she's on set doing a show, and of course she misunderstood and thinks it's Mingasms, and she likes that better. She will make an innuendo about anything, and apparently when she was doing Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it was just a constant thing with her, to the point that if somebody in an interview said something that was that they were like, that could be taken dirty somehow, they were like, please don't say that, because she's off to the races already. So the Star Wars stuff is cool. We've got more Star Wars coming. Of course, the Obi-Wan series, the Ahsoka series. I am hearing more rumors about was it Rangers of the Republic or whatever they're calling it now?
Oh, I don't think I've even heard of that one yet. Yeah,
it's the one that was supposed to be with the MMA. Woman. I don't know. I keep hearing stuff about her coming back and then not coming back and then coming back. It's weird. It's a strange involved thing.
Serrano.
Yeah.
That girl's good.
Oh yeah, she really is.
That's too bad. And I think we're past all that now, because I mean, it's so funny, all the things that people got canceled for a while. It's like, oh yeah, it was true.
Well, Disney's got a bunch of stuff coming up. Of course, fans of Toy Story, Disney's gonna be doing the new Buzz Lightyear movie.
That's
with,
right.
Chris Pine, one of the Chris's. I think it's Chris Pine.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well, and related to Star Wars, another Disney property, Marvel has been putting in work.
Holy, like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. So in the interim, while I was busy dealing with the insanity of the holidays, recovery from the holidays, and then nearly catching death of the flu. So I do have reasons why I haven't been in. The validity or good reasons, that's debatable. But in the interim, when you're stuck on a couch for a week, you have a lot of time. So I got caught up on some of the back Marvel stuff, and oh man, if anyone saw the Super Bowl, then you probably saw the Doctor Strange 2 trailer, the Multiverse of Madness, which I unfortunately didn't have a chance to make it out to the theater. Again, same reasons. So I haven't seen the new Spider-Man. I know everything that happens in it, but naturally. But that introduced kind of the first Doctor Strange introduced us to the multiverse.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2 breaks open the multiverse, or Spider-Man 3 rather breaks open the multiverse, and now in Doctor Strange 2 we're getting the effects of that. it is chock full of little like nods and little references here that if you blink, you miss them.
Oh,
yeah.
So one of my favorite bits, speaking of people with accents, there is a scene in the trailer there where you see the back bald head of someone in a suit who's talking to Stephen Strange as they're like, let's tell him the truth. And if it's not Patrick Stewart, then it is a dead ringer for him.
Wow.
So it looks like with them being able to do this multiverse,
Yes.
this is how they're bringing all of the Fox stuff that they purchased.
Right. Now, because Disney now owns the X-Men and all the mutants.
Yeah.
Deadpool as well, which the Deadpool movie is coming. We've been assured that it will be a rated R movie. They're not gonna try to slip it and make it family friendly,
like Deadpool 2, where they re-released it as a PG-13 cut.
That was more of a joke than anything. I actually own that copy too.
Yeah.
It's weird.
The Christmas cut.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I've heard rumors that they're looking at rebranding the mutants as Eternals. I hope they don't do that.
I don't think they will.
I think when it comes down to it, they're going to realize that's a bad idea.
Especially because they've kind of already told us that mutants exist in the MCU.
Yes.
They have for years. With Age of Ultron, they had... so Marvel has this best kept secret that gives you a lot of the like the what's going on. They release these things that some people know about, and if you know, you know, comic books that tie in with the movies.
They always have.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like this. It's this hush hush thing, but specifically actual MCU comic books. So they do these digital only ones that are like directly from the Marvel universe. Yeah. And in the Age of Ultron stuff, they actually set up that the Sokovian people, there was some who had genetic abnormalities because they couldn't use the word mutant
right
in the movies.
Genetic abnormalities. That's good.
And so they started messing with it, and these people signed up for these tests, and Hydra is able to activate some of them. Well, all but Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver die. And this is that, like, how the mutant gene works in comics is it'll either activate one of three ways: through puberty, through outside influence, genetic manipulation, or through moments of extreme duress. Well, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's backstory is a Stark Industries bomb drops in the living room and kills their parents as little kids. And she's able to just all of a sudden have magic abilities to stop this bomb from going off and killing them. Ergo, they basically said, no, they're mutants. We just can't use the word yet.
Right.
Yeah.
It's sort of like what we were talking about a few weeks ago with Prince.
Yeah.
And him having to use the symbol instead of his name, and nobody really understood why. This is why. So, it's all legal stuff, but the legal stuff is done.
Yeah. Wow. They can use the term now.
Yeah, this could be really, really interesting. The directions they can go are just limitless at this point.
That's cool.
Because they can take what they want from what's come before. If something is inconvenient from what's coming before, they can just kind of wipe it, which Marvel is way too good at, and that's why I don't read Marvel anymore. They've done more of those reboots than DC, so I'm just
Well, it just seems like every movie coming out, it's a DC or Marvel movie. It has to do with
so many
comic book, and it's like I've seen all these movies come out, and they're all connected somehow to them. It's weird,
and with the streaming services, they're discovering that they can do, instead of trying to fit a bunch of stuff, especially on a character nobody knows, into a 2-hour movie. They can then do it over 8 hours in a TV series, which is basically an 8-hour movie. And you've been watching these things. The Disney Plus has all the Marvel stuff, of course. Some of the stuff he was referring to with Scarlet Witch, it's talked about in the WandaVision series. Which anybody who was sitting there thinking, it looks kind of stupid. No, it's not. It's really, really good and really deep, and introduces a character who is coming back. With one of the best actresses to play the role,
Agatha Harkness.
It is. Yeah, she's gonna come back, and it sounds like she's gonna have her own movie eventually, or TV series on Disney. So she's bad.
That's
bad.
insane.
Well, so they introduced the idea of the multiverse in WandaVision because the show is jumping around genres.
Yes.
So it's doing like little nods to the Bewitched,
Oh,
and like it's
Brady Bunch.
Yeah, Brady
Oh my
Bunch. It's
gosh.
making references to all of this, classic television.
Yeah.
And it was playing with the idea of there's a multiverse.
Mhm.
Well, then you have more than one Scarlet Witch just in a trailer for Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
You have
More than one Doctor Strange.
More than one Doctor Strange. There's an evil Doctor Strange, with longer goatee. That's how you know he's evil.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because if you already have a goatee,
yeah,
and you're the good one, well, your evil one just has to have a longer goatee.
Okay.
Unless it's
Doctor
South,
Who rules.
unless it's South Park, because it's South Park, the exact opposite. Yeah, you're clean shaven.
Yeah.
So
or Bender. Yeah, Bender.
Bender. Yeah. Yeah, his was magnetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all from Star Trek originally too. So
okay.
the whole idea that we want to show they're evil. Well, how are we going to do that? Put a goatee on them. No good guy wears a goatee.
Exactly.
So you had Spock and a goatee, and this is evil Spock.
Yeah,
that's how you know.
That's why I have a goatee. I am intrinsically evil. So, so it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
And of course, also on the Disney thing, which they did, which I think is probably the best series overall that they've done so far, Marvel wise. They finished up over Christmas Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
And Hawkeye was so good.
Which, with the newest Spider-Man movie, they've brought in the Netflix universe.
Yes.
So we have Charlie Cox is playing Daredevil.
Yeah.
From the 3 seasons.
3 seasons. Yeah.
That they had for the Netflix series.
And it's
everyone's like,
amazing...
oh well, Netflix isn't canon. And then the MCU is like, you know what? No, it is.
Yeah,
it's ours again.
Well, what they choose to be canon,
right?
Vincent D'Onofrio showed up in Hawkeye
as the Kingpin.
Yeah, and he plays a great Kingpin.
Yeah.
He's when he comes on screen, you kind of hold your breath a little bit, and you can't really help it because who would have known that he could play a character like that so well?
Yeah.
Now if you haven't seen the Netflix Daredevil, you need to.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. It's shot so well. There is a fight scene in a hallway that you have to see to believe.
Yeah.
It was shot in one take, and it goes on and on as these guys keep pouring into this hallway to fight him, and occasionally he drops out of the screen for just a minute, and then he's right back in. And it's all one take that they did this thing, and it's amazing. I've never seen anything like this. I had to sit there and stop and rewind it and watch it again because I couldn't believe that there was no cuts.
Wow.
And unlike Marvel movies, you could tell what was going on in the entire fight scene. You could follow it all.
Yeah.
There was no CGI, no nothing like that. So they're getting in. They're getting interesting. And of course, we got the new shows that are coming. So you're gonna have She-Hulk is coming and Ms. Marvel. Not to mention the movies like Morbius is coming out as part of the Venom side of the universe, which they are meshing into the regular MCU with the Venom movie.
Because I forget the actor's name now who played Venom. Tom Hardy.
Yeah, not Tom Brady.
shows up as a cameo.
Yeah.
And in No Way Home.
And if you haven't watched Venom, watch Venom and make sure to stay there for past the end credits, because there's a cut scene that shows what happens, sort of how they get there. Shows that they get there.
Well, so from the sounds of it, it looks like Sony is willing to play ball with Marvel because they realize they got a real good thing going on.
Yeah, they do.
Marvel foots the bill and they just get to make the money.
Yes.
They basically say, well, here's your character back. We're loaning him back to you to do this thing. You foot the bill for it. We put our name on it and we rake in cash. And then their Sony universe, they're still doing stuff.
Yeah. Because they've got Into the Spider-Verse 2 is coming out, the animated movie.
Well, and you have Morbius, which is in the Sonyverse. You have the Venom movies, which are in the Sonyverse. But with Marvel doing their multiverse, they can just go, oh, no, it's fine. You do whatever you need to do. We've explained it away.
Yeah.
It can all exist together.
Yeah. And I like that. We've talked about this on the show with businesses here in town that you would think they'd be in competition, and they're working together. And the whole Disney thing and Sony, of course, they're competitors, but they're also learning how to play nice together with each other's toys. So that's a good thing. And
I mean, they probably also don't want to fall under the House of Mouse because you push back against Disney long enough, and they're like, all right, get the checkbook. I'm tired of this guy.
Yeah, it's turning into Demolition Man, where every restaurant is now Taco Bell.
It's becoming that scene in was it Gotham, with the young Bruce Wayne. They're at a club and they're trying to get in. There's this guy who's turning up his nose, and he's like, "Oh, whatever, Wayne family guy thinks he's so powerful because he's got money." And Bruce Wayne comes up and he's like, looks at the bouncer. He's like, "I'm sorry, can I talk to somebody really quick?" Lets him in for like 30 seconds. He comes walking back and he's like, "All right, guys, come on in." Not him. He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, I just bought the club.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Well, one of the, and I know it's a line that people, a lot of people don't like in the Batman v Superman, which I think was a great movie anyway. Hate me for it if you want. At the very end, there's a line where Martha Kent lost her home, lost the farm, and they're moving her back in, and Clark is coming up to Bruce and saying, I don't know how you managed to do this. And he says, I bought the bank that owned the yeah. So yeah.
That's funny.
It's like the one of my favorite it's not subtle, but it's just like it's such a good punchline, but it's not played to a joke, as in Inception. There's a line with Ken Watanabe's character as they're getting ready to plan this whole dream heist. Well, we need to get on the airline, so we're gonna need to rent out the entire first class so that we won't be bothered, and then we'll get into the guy's dreams and do this. Do you think you can buy all the first class seats? And he just looks and goes, "I bought the airline."
Yeah. God, Inception. Oh my God. There is a show that I want to talk about that just started that is not science fiction, but I want to talk about it because of who is playing the lead role. Well, one of the lead roles. It's a brand new show. What was the name of The End Game? Yeah, they've now got 3 episodes up now, and basically it's kind of like The Blacklist, but with a female baddie.
Yeah, that's what it looked like when I saw that. I was like, okay, that's.
Except it's going to be a lot harsher because this isn't somebody trying to redeem themselves on some level. No, I think she's just bad all the way through this. I watched the first episode. I don't know how they're going to do this for an entire season, much less do a second season. It's chock full, and the actress that's playing the big bad is Morena Baccarin, who I didn't even realize how much I'd seen her in.
Yeah.
Of course, she played Vanessa in the Deadpool movies. She played the main alien Anna in V, the new season that they did, and I wish they could have gone on because they ended on a cliffhanger and the fans were livid. It was so good. She played in Serenity. I forget what the name of the character was.
She's the
Inara.
Yes.
She was the consort.
What is that the word? Companion.
Companion.
Yeah. They didn't want to say concubine.
Yeah.
But
yeah, she was in the Flash TV series, the voice of Gideon for the early stuff. She's been in the Twilight Zone, tons and Gotham. She played Leslie Tompkins. I didn't realize that was her.
Yeah,
but her pedigree. She did a voice work on Batman, the Brave and the Bold. It's just amazing what all she's done, and now she's doing this show, and she's not doing much. She's been captured by the federal government, and so she's basically in a cell, and everything she's doing is delivery, and her menace is through the roof. So not a sci-fi show, but definitely one worth watching. She's an amazing actress, and she's proven it over the years, but with this is something on a whole different level. So I was watching. I was like, wait a minute, I know this woman. And I was like, I didn't realize how much I knew this woman. I've seen her in more than I realized. Because she's a great character actress. But man, it's a really good show so far.
Cool.
I know you finally watched lost it, Cowboy Bebop.
Yes,
on Netflix.
Oh yeah, that's yes. So, all right. We're going to get a little weeby here for a minute.
It's easy to do.
I'm gonna go a little weeaboo. Don't worry, I won't start speaking in Japanese. It's fine. We don't have to subtitle. I could, but I won't. No, so Cowboy Bebop. Many probably remember it from staying up way too late.
Adult Swim.
Yeah. Adult Swim late at night. All of a sudden, they'd have their anime block.
Mm-hmm.
And Cowboy Bebop has one of the most amazing, most annoying soundtracks because it is a jazz like soundtrack the whole way through the show. But the song Tank that it opens with has this loud like ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da as the first intro note, and it's all these bright colors flashing across. Now, mind you, this show came on at like midnight, 12:30, and so you're trying to like sneak and stay up, or at least I was, because this is like 2000, 2001. I'm trying to like keep the TV on low volume and watch, and it cuts in with ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. I've been caught.
And it's this heavy slap bass sound on it. It's the so
doom,
cool.
doom, 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 doom. So, if you're not aware of what Cowboy Bebop is, if you like the old spaghetti western type stuff, imagine that in space.
Oh, okay.
So you have these cowboys, which are their words for bounty hunters. You have criminals out in space. This is the post-Earth era. Earth is not inhabitable. So the new colony
there's a handful of people barely surviving on the surface.
Yeah. There's the new colony is out on Ganymede on Mars. That is where everything is kind of located. That's if there is a new Earth, that's it. It is a crew on the Bebop, which is the spaceship, that are cowboys. And you have Spike and Jet. Spike Spiegel and Jet Black are the two main characters. Jet owns the Bebop. Spike joined up with him with no real history, just said, I want to be a cowboy. Put me on your ship. They go around claiming bounties in a East meets West type of style, because you have Spike, who's very much a Bruce Lee kind of inspiration, but in like a blue zoot suit. It has a number of other characters. Amazing series. Only ran for like 24 episodes, and that was it. There was never any sequels. There was one movie, and you don't even need to watch it because it doesn't really explain anything that you missed, as most OVAs are in anime.
It's almost like a totally different series.
Yeah, it exists in its own separate thing. You watch it if you want, or don't. We don't care.
Yeah. And it's really good. You know, there's adults that are saying, I'd never watch a cartoon. Right. This is not a cartoon the way you're thinking. Right. My biggest problem with watching Cowboy Bebop is I couldn't just binge the whole thing because it gets a little depressing. The anime.
It does. And oddly enough, it was very mature in its themes. You're dealing with ideas of, love and loss and live stolen. It's heavily implied that one of the characters was in basically sold into trafficking. So it touches on all of these things, but it doesn't overtly say it. So the one of the big twists that is overtly said in the live action, which I kind of appreciated, is that the main character, Spike, worked for the Syndicate. Imagine Space Mafia.
Yeah.
Because everything's cooler if you put space in front.
Well, yes. That's why this is our space episode of the Space Roundtable.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, already cooler.
Right. You get to do this. So he's a hitman. He falls in love with a girl. He wants to get out, and in so doing has to fight kind of the big bad of this syndicate. Yeah. And the woman he loves ends up dying, as far as he's aware.
And everybody thinks that he's dead.
And everyone thinks that he's dead. And so he drops his name and starts going by Spike and becomes this cowboy. Well, a lot of what people didn't like in the live action series was that they went and changed things, because in an anime you can be a little more nebulous.
Yeah.
And people are going to, piece it together eventually. that is for an Eastern audience. You can tell a little bit of a story here and there over 24 episodes, and people go, okay, I got it.
You can't do that in
a Western audience. I have to tell you or show you, because if not, you're not going to care. You're not going to get it. And everyone's going to be confused. What's up, Inception?
Yes.
Which if you just leave the top spinning, people get pissed. Yeah. I still am. I went to film school, and you owe me an ending, Nolan. Christopher Nolan still owes me that ending. I paid good money. You tell me how it ends. I paid you.
Nolan also owes me a decent Bane, but that's a totally different story.
But do you feel in control?
What?
Exactly.
The best thing about that Batman Bane is that they will take that Bane and put him into the Harley Quinn animated series.
Yeah, make it that was the great one. Yeah. So in this we have John Cho, who some might remember from the American Pie franchise,
and Harold and Kumar.
He was Sulu in the more recent Star Trek movies.
Yeah,
the guy puts in work.
Yeah. And he's been doing physical stuff because he's got some scenes where he's doing some martial arts stuff with no shirt on, and you're looking at this guy thinking, was that always under there? Because I remember him looking kind of doughy in Harold and Kumar. I think it was
the Into Darkness. He had the action scene in there, and he started putting in work. Yeah, and he got like Keanu Reeves level of chiseled for his acting, and then took this into Cowboy Bebop. He looks incredible in the suit and does a lot of the martial arts stuff.
He looks exactly like the animated character.
The actor that they got to play Jet sounds exactly like the original voice actor.
Yeah, that's Mustafa Shakir playing that role.
Thank you. I always forget his name.
Yeah, I'm cheating.
Yes. And my personal favorite character, Faye Valentine, who is a character you don't know much about her story. She is a cowboy who has no memory. She woke up 3 years ago in a cryo freeze tank with no memory.
And she's irredeemable when they first bring her on. It takes forever before you start liking her.
Yeah, she's absolutely awful to everyone. She's the character that they kind of imply maybe was being trafficked, things like that, while she was frozen, and all of the stuff that like has a messed up history. Starts using whatever wiles she can to try and find out who she is. Is an absolute awful human being. And then you realize, well, the people on the Bebop are not great either. So it's all kind of a ship full of who sucks less.
Yeah. The closest to a decent person is Edward.
Yeah,
who they bring in at the end of the season, and it's like,
and here's the great part, right? Ed is this like world-renowned hacker, space renowned hacker, that is just real weird. Goes on like saying random sentences, but to her make perfect sense. They brought in her favorite four-legged companion, Ein, who's a corgi. That was tested on, so it has some weird stuff going on with it.
In the animated series, it was a smart dog.
Yeah,
it was actually bred to be partially computerized. Basically, with this one, it's genetic enhancement that they've been working with on the TV series. So they're updating it a little bit as well.
Yeah, and some of the episodes are direct remakes of like the very first episode of the series is a almost 1-to-1 remake of one of the most popular episodes from the animated series, and a few of them are like that. The one with the laughing man was another one that was just like, oh my god,
and it was done so well.
They had this, this guy is basically the mind of a child in the body of like he's probably 40s, early 50s.
He's been a killer that they just basically Winter Soldier him whenever they need him.
And they send him out to go kill Spike Spiegel. And all he does is laugh the entire time. Where does he take him to? An abandoned amusement park, and dresses up like a clown and just starts laughing the whole time. Has a chronic fear of dogs. Hence where Ein comes in.
Yeah.
And it was horribly creepy at 12 in the morning when you're 14.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you see it live action, you're like, they actually made him just as terrifying. I'm 36 years old and I'm still like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Can we go back to the loud tank thing? I'd rather, but this is scary. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the thing is, it's I got vibes of just a more multicolored version of Firefly with what they did with the series.
Well, and that was the thing, right? Like Firefly came out in 2001, 2002.
I don't want to think about it.
Something like that. Around this same time, granted it probably an even more watchable hour because Fox can't figure out programming schedules. I'm not mad about Firefly.
No, none of us are.
Cowboy Bebop was very much the same thing. It's this, you care about these characters. It's the ship itself is almost its own character.
Yeah.
All the little idiosyncrasies of like, why is the hot water always broken? All these things where it takes on a life.
Yeah.
They did introduce Ed as kind of this cameo, and I got excited.
Oh, me too. I was so ready.
As soon as the series ended, I was like, all right, where's season 2? It's already been canceled.
Yeah.
And not in the Twitter way. In the like Netflix didn't renew it for a second season because apparently a lot of people complained. I think that I'm hoping that Netflix will wise up and realize that they actually have something here.
Yeah.
And will bring it back.
Well, the thing is, when you have that much negative, you know that these people are also watching.
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
Right.
So, yeah. And the positive is huge.
Okay.
Too.
You didn't like it. Don't watch it.
Right. Yeah. Well, so
that's not the world we live in, though.
I know. We don't live in that world anymore.
The part of it that's cool to me is it's a chance for them to, much like they did with some other episodes, tell new stories in the Bebop universe.
Yes.
Because they essentially handle all of the main underlying story with Spike in that first season. That turns out the girl he loves is alive. He goes and ends up fighting the guy who tried to kill him because the guy who tried to kill him was actually in a relationship with the girl he loved. That's part of the reason why he went to kill him. They're back and forth. They establish all of the syndicate leadership, which had Denethor from the Lord of the Rings. I cannot remember the actor's name now, but turns up as our main villain's dad and the leader of the crime syndicate. You're like, Gondor has no king. Gondor needs no. What is this? Wait, excuse me?
It worked so well, though.
But they handled all of Spike's story.
Yeah.
Now they had the chance to like, we can tell anything we want in this universe. And we just had to get all of the original stuff out of the way. We had to, give the fans what they want, do some of the older episodes. Now that we've gotten that established, covered Spike's story, let's see where else we can go.
Yeah. And if you liked the live action series, you can pick up comic books that they have at Zia Comics.
Yeah, so there's a 4-part mini. Actually, oddly enough, don't trip over the segue. Issue 2 of said comic book series for Cowboy Bebop comes out today.
And it looks like there's tons of issues because there's tons of covers. So you get to choose what you want. That looks best.
Yep. Stanley Lau did a cover for issue 1. And this guy is one of the most prodigious artists in comics. His covers look incredible. They look like they could step off the page.
Yeah.
He did the cover for issue 1 and drew all of the characters of the Bebop looking like the actors. So you basically have John Cho on the cover of this comic book, and I forget the actress's name for Faye, but drew her as well.
Wendy Lee.
Yes.
I just pulled that out of my head.
Yeah. It's locked in the memory banks.
Yeah. It's not right here in front of me.
But it's a 4-part miniseries that is also telling its own story with these same characters in this same universe. I was very excited to see that they were going, more, what is the word I'm looking for? Multi-medium, where they're doing a TV show and a comic book, and then you have the original series. I think honestly what it is unfortunately the series downfall is that it has this thing called anime fans. And they are some of the most rabid neckbeards you'll ever meet. And I say that with no remorse. These are the same people. These are the same. I say this with all due disrespect. These are the same people that for 40 years have tried to tell George Lucas what he was doing wrong with Star Wars.
Yeah.
They are so rabid about it that they think they know the series better than other people. It's like, well, if you can do it better, do it. You can't. Okay, then sit down, coward. You're rocking the boat. Some of us like the show.
Yep. Understand, I'm a Trek fan.
Right.
So guess what?
Right.
Before any of these other groups started this crap, there was a group of Trek fans that were doing this for the longest time. I know in episode 623, that's not the way it happened. The warp core could not be breached except by whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, dude, seriously. I get it, and I like the continuity, and I like being able to say, okay, this stuff fits, but it's still a damn show.
And it's here for entertainment.
Yeah.
And sometimes you gotta let go of the I know the lore and just have fun.
Yeah.
And that's honestly my hot take review of Cowboy Bebop. It's just fun.
It is. It's a blast.
It was a fun series.
Even when they're dealing with heavier stuff, you're still like, this is fun.
Yeah. Speaking of fun series, gear shifting. Because I also watched this right after Cowboy Bebop. Marvel's What If.
Yeah.
Did anyone watch that one? Oh, man.
Yeah.
So I love me a good Elseworld story.
Yeah.
Right? A good other universe thing.
Yeah, this is basically saying What If was basically ask a question.
Yeah.
What if...
It literally is what if...
Yeah.
What if... Well, again, another segue. They brought back the comic series. They're doing What If Miles Morales. So the Ultimate Spider-Man. This is the one from Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Right.
The half African-American, half Hispanic Spider-Man.
Yeah.
What if he was Captain America instead of Spider-Man?
Oh.
Yeah.
What if he got the super soldier serum instead of bitten by a radioactive spider?
And the neat thing about the What If for me has always been, because I got a complete run of the first series that they did.
Yeah.
What I loved about that is they would take something that it was either a big thing or a small thing. Stuff like, what if Wolverine had killed the Hulk in their first encounter?
Right.
And it's not a big deal. They basically fought to a draw in the original comics. With this one, Wolverine kills the Hulk. How much does that change? Well, there's the big changes, but then there's also these little ripple changes that change all sorts of things. It's butterfly effect on a comic book format.
Right. Things like what if they didn't kill the Phoenix? What if Uncle Ben didn't die? And it it's all these little one shots. Yeah. Like, here's a story of what could have happened. It was done so brilliantly in this series because just like the original comics, there's this character called Uatu the Watcher.
Yeah. He
is of the Watchers, hence the name.
I wish they could have had Stan Lee voice him.
That would have been great. And he lives on the dark side of the moon, I believe.
Yes.
And all he does is he watches.
He's sworn not to be involved.
He can't.
Although he does regularly.
He's not supposed to interfere with the goings on. He can see like all of these different realities and all of the different, so how a multiverse works is, say you go back in time to when Bitcoin was invented.
Oh.
And you invest $1,000.
Right.
And then you come back to now, you'd be billionaire, right?
Right.
Except no, you wouldn't. You'd come back to this time and everything would be just like it was. Because how it deals with it is you go back to that point and you invest $1,000. When you do, another universe is created. And you come back to your universe where you're just like you are now. But there's another
Except
universe.
You're lacking $1,000.
Right. Yeah. But there's another universe where you're a billionaire. What if does that?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so it's this like at every point when a decision is made, a new universe creates. And they kind of touched on that with Loki a little bit.
Yes.
But What If was able to show us some really cool things, like bringing back Peggy Carter.
Yes.
Who I love that character from Captain America. I thought one of the biggest disservices was that she only got to be in one movie.
I love Haley
Atwell.
She was so good in that role. She was so good. If you get a chance to watch the limited series they did, Agent Carter, on ABC, she's just so good. And she got to voice this animated character where she basically became the super soldier instead of Steve Rogers.
Oh,
so what if Hydra gets involved with the super soldier serum, and in so doing, I believe Steve is shot or something like that. I forget exactly why he wasn't able to be in the thing. And so they're like, we have to do this now or we don't do it. And Dr. Erskine gets shot and they're like, this is it. And she hits herself with the needle and jumps in the little tube thing, comes out as Captain Carter.
Yeah, Captain Carter.
Okay.
I was like, Captain Britain? No,
yeah,
we're not going to use that name.
Yeah, because that's going to be coming soon.
Is it? I didn't hear about Captain Britain.
It's tied in with the Eternals movie.
They're
already talking about who they want to have play Captain Britain, and they've got a really good idea. And he's worn spandex before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're talking about Superman.
That from Superman Returns?
No, from the Snyderverse movies.
Oh, okay. The Witcher.
Yeah, The Witcher. Yeah. Isn't that horrible?
You know, as long as they don't CG off a mustache, I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, that was all Joss Whedon. May he burn in wherever he's at because he's not dead. Yeah, there's issues with that.
Okay.
But yeah, they're going to be tying all that in. But yeah, in the of course, Steve Rogers still puny because he didn't go through the process. Well, Howard Stark works on his research and he discovers the arc reactor and creates the
Hydra Smasher.
The Hydra Smasher. It's an Iron Man suit for Steve Rogers
to
be
in. Steve Rogers becomes Iron Man.
So everything diverges into this whole new thing, and it's cool.
Yeah,
they had one where the Earth was basically populated by zombies.
Yes, they did Marvel Zombies. Yeah. They did. Put some respect on his name here, gentlemen. Robert Kirkman's Marvel Zombies. That name is familiar because Walking Dead. The guy who's best known for zombies did a Marvel zombie story.
Yes, with art by Sidem.
It all ties
amazing
together.
Artist.
Yeah,
it
all comes together. But it gave us a zombie Scarlet Witch and a zombie hunter Spider-Man who has Doctor Strange's cloak of levitation.
A zombie giant man.
Yeah, it shows us what happens if the Vision actually lost it. So in the comic books, one of the most iconic scenes, which I will never forgive Brian Michael Bendis for, is House of M, where the Scarlet Witch was responsible for depopulating the mutants in the comic books. Yeah. Takes away 98% of the mutant population's powers by just uttering a phrase, "No more mutants," and boom, all the mutants are gone.
Yeah, that's the power level you're looking at with this character.
This is the character that's going to be in Doctor Strange. So when I say I get hyped about Doctor Strange 2, this is why I'm hyped.
Yes.
Because they're actually doing real Scarlet Witch. They are showing us I don't just like mess with probabilities. I change universes.
Yeah.
You don't mess with the Scarlet Witch. So they essentially what happens is she lost it because she believed she had kids, was in love with the Vision, believed she had kids with him, who is a robot. Kind of doesn't work that way. Well, she's having these delusions. And as they try to help her retain grip with reality, she realizes my kids aren't real. And
she created them, yeah.
And says, that's it. No more mutants. You've been messing with my head. Fine. And changes reality. So this is Wanda changing things for her love for Vision and her kids. They do an inverse with What If, and it's what if the Vision loves Scarlet Witch so much that even after a zombie outbreak, he captures, I believe it was Black Panther in the episode,
I think so.
And starts cutting off pieces of him, holding him captive to feed to his zombie beloved. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a hardcore moment. My favorite bit is that they're getting all of the MCU actors to do these voices.
Yeah.
And one of the most incredible and powerful moments in the series is what if Black Panther was Star-Lord?
Yeah. Basically, he was taken by the aliens instead of
Peter Quill. They accidentally landed in Wakanda and grabbed T'Challa, took him up to space. He becomes Star-Lord. He talks Thanos out of the entire Infinity War.
Yes.
Talks him out of it.
Makes him a good guy.
Doesn't have to raise a hand. He just reasons with him and is like, here's why this would not work.
Yeah.
He's like,
and I think that was
becomes
actually
a Ravager.
I think that was actually Chadwick Boseman's last role.
And
he did the voice work. And
the most incredible and powerful moment was it was Chadwick Boseman's last role. And literally it gets to the credits and it's like, rest in peace, in memory of Chadwick Boseman, rest in power, King.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're just like, oh, my heart. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Somebody take this out. I don't want it anymore.
That was the best thing about the whole deal. So,
it also gave us another look at Killmonger.
Yes.
What if Killmonger had remained in power? He starts working for Stark Industries. He takes over the planet, essentially.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they establish a multiversal Avengers with this story, because that's the big twist that people weren't aware of, is it's all one shots. And then episode 8 of the 9, they tie it all in and they're like, oh, by the way, these are all connected.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. They form a multiversal team, because what if Ultron got the Infinity Stones and he's the big bad for this series? And then they kind of tie it all up together. For those who were watching the Super Bowl trailer for Doctor Strange, it looks like some of those characters are on the Illuminati Council in this trailer that Patrick Stewart showed up in.
Yeah.
So it looks like we might have a Michael B. Jordan
fingers.
Killmonger and a Haley Atwell Captain Carter and a Patrick Stewart Professor X. And it looks like they might just use all of those.
Wow.
Because there was also the what if Doctor Strange, instead of becoming the Sorcerer Supreme, what if instead of him getting the accident, his love interest, Rachel McAdams' character, died in the car accident? And he begins using his magic powers, devouring all sorts of eldritch beings for power so that he can rewind time and change things.
Yeah.
Doesn't succeed, and in so doing unmakes the universe, but becomes a nigh on god.
Yeah. If he talked to Doctor Who, he would have known there are fixed moments in time that can't be changed.
Right.
That's basic wibbly wobbly number 101.
But the version of him is this more gaunt, like longer beard.
Yeah.
That shows up in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
As well as a zombie Doctor Strange, but it looked dope. But I don't know how they're going to explain that.
I don't know. But I can see that BJ's kind of gasping for air here. Okay. We have buried him under so much.
Wow, it's like that's a lot.
You were warned in the beginning. I've had 3 months. While you studied the music, I studied the blade.
So you've got you got my guitar.
I got his guitar. Yes. I'm going to decompress real quick.
Okay. Why don't you play something, then we'll get to what's going on in the area, and we'll get back to this stuff.
It's been a while since I could hold my head up high. It's been a while since I first saw you. It's been a while since I could stand on my own 2 feet again. It's been a while since I could call you. And everything I can remember messed up as it all may seem. The consequences that I render stretch myself beyond my means. It's been a while since I couldn't say that I wasn't addicted. It's been a while myself as well as it's been a while since I've gone and messed things up just like I always do. It's been a while, but all that stuff seems to disappear when I'm with you. And everything I can remember, messed up as it all may seem, the consequences that I've rendered stretch myself beyond my veins. Why must I feel this way? Just make this go away. Just one more peaceful day. Been a while since I could look at myself straight. It's been a while since I said I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've seen the way the candles light your face. It's been a while, but I can still remember just the way you taste. And everything I can remember, as messed up as it all may seem to be, I know it's me. I cannot blame this on my father. He did the best he could for me. It's been a while since I could hold my head up high. It's been a while since I said I'm sorry.
Dude.
Incredible.
And it's been a while since
I was gonna say, I was like, of all the songs, rub it in, man. Just, here, I'll get you some salt. Just rub that right in there.
So we got some stuff going on. Stuff is opening up. People
I
are
just
coming
gotta
back
say,
out.
that was pretty. In an hour, he crammed in 3 months worth.
Oh yeah, and
that was a lot. I got lost.
There's a lot more
But,
still, though.
Yeah.
So much. If you want to hear Dave Olguin, he's going to be playing this Saturday at 7:30 at NM Vintage. Dave is awesome. I haven't heard him in forever. I haven't seen him in forever, so I may have to look at going out there just to say hi to the guy. The Las Cruces International Film Festival is coming March 2nd through 6th at the Cineport 10. It will actually be in person this year.
Yay!
So yeah, this is all independent movies, documentaries, shorts, student films, all put together. So it's kind of a neat thing, and you can actually be there this time around. This Wednesday, which happens to be today, Rio Grande Winery starts to do something new.
Oh yeah!
The first Wednesday of every month, Chris Baker and the MFB are going to be running Musicians Jam. Now, I've heard different things from different people, so this is what it says on their Facebook post. Come join us for our Musicians Jam hosted by Chris Baker and the MFB. All musicians are welcome to come preform. I think they mean perform, but who knows? Maybe it is preforming. And I'm just
don't come in form. Come preform.
Showcasing your own style and songs for everyone the first Wednesday of every month. And then it just goes into what Rio Grande Winery is, which Rio Grande Winery is just awesome. It's the greatest place. So that's I believe
we're trying to get the owner on there.
Yeah,
on here.
We're working on that. We're getting close. This is going on from 5 to 8. It looks like the actual jam will go on from 6 to 8, only 2 hours. It looks like you sign up at 5.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of similar to what an Vintage does, where like an hour before you're signing up, and they have so many spaces, you better get in.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. I'm just a little bit not sure because this is something totally new.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Jasmine is going to be out at Rio Grande Winery this Sunday at 3. TJM is going to be out at the Icebox on Picacho Saturday at 6. Let's see. Of course, open mics.
Yes.
The other ones besides the Rio Grande.
Yeah.
Tonight, like I say, Rio Grande is 5 to 8. 8 to 11 is Little Toad Creek. Damian Luna running that one.
Miss him. I haven't been able to get out.
Me neither.
It's been tough, but man, it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and he runs a really good show.
Yeah.
Of course, on Saturday afternoons, 2 to 5 at Amaro is the open mic out there, which is cool, and it's given me a bit of an inflated ego lately. I've got to keep in check because I've got 2 different local artists that are looking at covering my songs.
Yep.
One of them is sitting right here in the room with me.
He does a song. He did a song, Fireball.
Uh-huh.
And that was just, I was like, okay, but he did the country twist on it. I'm sitting going, I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I got to try. So I'm going to take a look at it, and I'm going to see if I can kind of give it my twist.
Yeah.
And do my version of it. So it'll be fun.
And I know there are some musicians out here that are like, it's my song. This is the way it's done. You don't change it.
Yeah.
I'm the sort of guy that I love a good cover. So I'm really curious.
Because I think what I said is, I'd like to try that. However, and he goes, don't worry, I already know.
Uh-huh. And the same thing. I got another one called "I Still Wear Your Ring." That there's a kid that's Lucas Garcia.
That was a good
Garcia.
one.
I've got his name written down. But he has a band, and they're looking at covering that, and I've gotten him the information, which means that I had to actually record some demos.
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah. That's hard.
Yeah.
And I guess it makes me more like a real something. I was actually talking to somebody the other day, and they were asking me, music came up, and they were asking me, what I do. And I says, well, I'm a singer-songwriter. And I didn't feel awkward or weird saying it. So I guess that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
So I'm loving the songwriting. I've been doing way too much of it, but still.
You just played another one for me today that was really good. I was like,
I don't
know how this is going to sound.
Yeah, I was not sure. I was not sure at all. So, Antonio Lucero is going to be playing it at Amaro Winery this Friday at 7. Las Cruces Arts Fair this Saturday at 10 at the Las Cruces Convention Center. Art fair is cool. You never know who's going to be out there. There's tables all throughout that thing with people doing different things. And of course, the art that I really care about out there is, I wonder if the people who do the gourmet popcorn are going to be back. Hey, that's an art form.
That is.
Blackberry popcorn, and then peanut butter and jelly popcorn, or peanut butter and chocolate popcorn, either way. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Of course, we have new comic book day at Zia Comics today.
I may have, mentioned one or two.
Is there anything else coming out that people would be?
I am drawing an absolute blank now. See, the what if Miles Morales and the Cowboy Bebop was because I was able to segue into it. I was like, oh wait, that's a comic book too.
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing that happens if people ask me for a recommendation. I'm like, I read. I read. What do I read? What is books? The moment I have to think about it, my brain goes, nah, you don't need that information.
So,
but there is a lot of books that came out.
Yeah, I've got some of them, but you'll see my bias pretty quickly. Arkham City, the new issue is out.
Yes, Arkham City or Order of the World, which I have been waiting to read because it's a 6-issue miniseries. It's a horror miniseries.
Yeah,
and the artwork is amazing.
Oh wow!
And I am not a horror person, but like the art is so good. I was like, well, I guess I got to read this.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that's one of them.
Batman Killing Time #1 comes out. Batman going up against Catwoman, Riddler, and the Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Killer Croc is involved too, because he's on the cover of the thing.
Yeah.
That guy just pisses everybody off, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's see. They're doing the Dark Knights of Steel stuff, which I don't know anything about.
Imagine what if Justice League, but Renaissance.
Let's see. Static season 1, the new issue comes out. Static was, well, first of all, they did a new imprint years back called Milestone that was basically ethnic characters, mainly black, but there were some other races plus some white people in there as well. It was a mixture, and it was the people that were creating it were just amazing writers and artists, and
predominantly all African American creators behind it,
and just brilliant people. Dwayne McDuffie was the main source of inspiration for the whole thing. Brilliant man, kind man. Everybody loved him. When he died, it broke everybody's heart, and I've never seen anybody rally to a family the way that DC Comics and Milestone Comics rallied to his wife and children and made them part of their family. And of course, he did Static, the Static Shock, the animated series. That was the same character as Static in the comics. Now they brought Static back in a new comic. There's more Milestone stuff that's been coming out.
Icon and Rocket.
Blood Syndicate is coming,
and with they're Chris Cross doing the art.
Yeah. And they're talking about doing a possible movie at some point with some of the Milestone characters.
That'd be awesome.
Wouldn't that be?
There is, unfortunately, I want to see the Milestone stuff like take off, because I loved Static Shock.
I picked up the Milestone stuff when it first came out, the first run, because I worked at a comic book shop, so I got my stuff. I got my stuff basically on credit, and for part of my hours worked, and I was just like, yeah, let's try it. And I was like, this is all so good and different, and it's a fresh take on these sort of characters. It's not any sort of cliched stereotypes on one side of the spectrum or the other. These are real people, and they're built well. So let's see. They're doing World of Krypton is going on. Issue 4 comes out today.
Some of the other big things. There's a new what are they calling it? It's a little mini series, but it's across a number of books. It's War for Earth 3 or War of Earth 3.
Oh boy.
Yeah. They're doing the Earth 3 stuff again. Earth 3 was the Justice League, but they're evil. So that you had the crime syndicate with, I think it was Ultraman. It was like Spectrum, the Owlman. Yeah. So it's all the Justice League, but they all took criminals. Basically totalitarian control over everything. Like nobody crosses Superman, Ultraman, because he's a god, and so they just kind of run everything.
He's the Boba Fett of that world.
Yeah. The first part of it is War for Earth 3. The second part of it is the latest issue of Suicide Squad. So I don't know how they're doing some universe jumping, it looks like.
Right. Which they've always done with those characters, so it's going to be kind of cool. Yeah.
On the Marvel side, you have What If Miles Morales became Captain America. You have Amazing Spider-Man is still running. It's going from strength to strength. Nick Spencer finished up his run recently. They've had a new guy running it. They've gone some directions creatively. Ben Reilly, the clone of Spider-Man, is back, and he's been Spider-Man for a minute. He's actually got his own title that also came out last week, I think. Ben Reilly Spider-Man.
I kind of liked that character way back in the day.
They brought in a new female Red Goblin who's like, she's already icing people. it's at one point it looked like they depowered, if not killed, Peter Parker outright. He is fine though. He's okay. He and Mary Jane are back together.
Good.
Yeah. So that was the big outcropping of the end of Nick Spencer's run, was essentially Pete and MJ are kind of back together.
Face it, Tiger. Don't mess with those two.
Right.
Keep them together.
and you know, they can stand by whatever they want to say, where they're like, oh, it was a decline in sales. Really? Because it was in the Sunday newspaper. You had a Spider-Man and Mary Jane. I feel like that's pretty good. Like, you're not just in the funny pages. You're okay. And yeah, the same one that gave us No More Mutants and depowered all the mutants also broke up the Avengers and broke up Spider-Man and Mary Jane's marriage.
Yeah.
But you know, at least he's doing Justice League now, and I don't read that one, so it's fine.
Well, thanks.
I'm sorry. It's your problem now.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
It took us years to oust him.
Thank God for DC. thank God for DC Infinite. I can read them online instead of having to buy all these. Sorry, dude. I can't afford that much these days.
Right? No, it's
yeah. Don't get him started.
And of course,
no. I promised I wouldn't.
Next week comes out the first issue of Roundtable, the comic book.
Right, in space Roundtable.
Yeah, Space Roundtable,
and it'll have this like kick-ass theme song there.
Yeah. BJ gets bit in the first issue by a radioactive marmot. We're not sure what a marmot does, so we're not sure what his powers are. We're gonna have to Google it just to see. Hey, you know what? Everybody else is doing comic books and animated series. The crew that did the definitive Dungeons and Dragons Online, Critical Role, has an animated series on Amazon Prime.
I was wondering when we were gonna segue into
oh, yes, you think we were gonna forget that, considering that that this is where your enthusiasm lies.
Yes.
Wow.
So for those not in the know, Critical Role. I am a huge the community of fans is called Critters. Because why not? That's an adorable name. I mean, it gives you this image of like a little, fuzzy, cuddly marmot. We should bring one on the show next week.
Yeah. We'll get somebody from the LA Zoo to bring.
It lived near a power plant, but it's fine. And thus the origin began. Oh boy. So Critical Role is
getting nervous now.
Okay.
Hold this thing. That's really hard.
As advertised every episode, Critical Role is a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors who get together to play Dungeons and Dragons. It is some of the like A-list names in voice actors. Matthew Mercer, Laura Bailey, Travis Willingham, Liam O'Brien, Ashley Johnson, who's won probably more awards than any voice actor, I feel. Has done some incredible work, has done live action work. Anyone remember What a Girl Wants with Mel Gibson?
Oh, yeah.
The daughter?
Yep.
Right.
Ashley Johnson.
Oh.
Yeah. And she was a child actress.
Yeah.
She was in the Kirk Cameron series.
Left Behind?
No. The old TV show.
Yeah. Was that Growing Pains?
Yes.
Growing Pains. Yeah.
Ashley Johnson was in Growing Pains. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have Taliesin Jaffe, who is also a child actor turned voice actor. Just an incredible crew of people. All they're actors, so for them, it's not even necessarily just like let's get together and roll some dice. They become these characters.
Yeah, and they take it seriously. At the same time, they're not serious.
Right.
They're goofing around. Within certain parameters, but it gets kind of funny, some of the stuff they're pulling, and sometimes it's not even intentional. It's just they just go weird. And the broadcasts of their playing are just huge. By the way, most are 3 hours an episode, and over 150 for most of the campaigns.
So there was it was 120 something for the first campaign. However, they did play for like a year and a half, 2 years at home, not online. And then they were picked up by Geek and Sundry, which was the Felicia Day Twitch channel. I think she's doing her own thing. She sold it off to Legendary Pictures. And then they started their second campaign on Geek and Sundry, and then they decided let's do a Kickstarter for a animated series that we can tell some of the stuff that happened in the home game for season 1. We can do a little animated film. Maybe if we can raise, I think the original goal was $100,000.
Yeah, I think so.
They were like, we can, do like a little 30-minute short and we'll be able to do some fun stuff. They raised, I believe, $5 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a huge fan base.
Wow.
You have to imagine there's like 30 to 40,000, I think, people that tune in every week. So I don't watch it on Twitch. I watch it through YouTube because the Twitch chat, there's no way to turn off. And even in their slow mode where only subscribers can send messages and you can only send a message like every 30 seconds, the chat moves so fast. You're literally watching this happen.
Yeah.
As you're trying to watch stuff go on.
Wow.
So it's just moving at a mile a minute. So I was like, I can't, that is I got ADD. Y'all need to stop. And I'm not going to sit there and cover it with my fingers. There's a huge fan base. So they raised like $5 million. This was 2019. Or no, it was end of 2019, early 2020. They had this Kickstarter. Well, they of course funded, when you make 50 times what you needed. And then they started production on it. I had not realized, but they separated ways with Geek and Sundry at that point and became their own thing, Critical Role.
Yeah.
And then a pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And so it's taken forever to come out because, restrictions. You can't have any of the animators working in the office. All of the voice actors essentially had to record from home and send their lines in. And so they're doing
which is not as big of a deal because they've done that with quite a bit of animated stuff.
And quite a few voice actors will have some form of home studio.
Yes.
That's where we get the term phoning it in.
Mm-hmm.
You literally would send in your lines, record it over the phone and send in your lines for your animated project.
Oh yeah. Well, and we've already seen you don't have to spend that much money and have a studio.
Right.
I'm curious to see what you think when you hear the demo that I recorded on my system. And I didn't even put any effects, which I could have put effects in it.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to do it now.
Yeah.
But
what is it? It's Legend of Vox Machina is the animated series. It's finally come out. The whole thing is aired. They did it very intelligently, in my opinion.
Productions look amazingly good.
So it's Amazon Prime. They were releasing 3 episodes at a time over 4 weeks. And so knocked out all 12 episodes in a month, which actually came out like right on my birthday. Wow. So it was a good little birthday present to me. Thanks, Critical Role.
There you go.
It's the animation studio is titmouse, which is a type of bird. Everyone's eyebrows raise, or they go when I say that. It's a type of bird, like the booby. Also a bird. Everyone calm down. It's the animation house that has been working on, their lead character designer is the one that was doing all the DC animated stuff.
Right.
That's why all of the animation feels a little familiar.
Cool.
It's the same people that were doing the DC animated movies. Yeah. So, and all voiced by the voice actors, because who else are you going to get?
Yeah, why would you change that up?
Right. They already have a stake in this, and they know the characters better than anyone because they created them. And there's a number of other just incredibly famous voices that it's one of those, like, I was so invested in the series, I didn't think about it. You have Greta Lyle, who's been a voice actor forever, playing one of the main villains. David Tennant is in the series as one of the side characters. Kari Payton, who people would probably recognize as Cyborg for most of the animated stuff. Who else? Gosh, now I'm drawing a blank. It's just it's as far as voice actors go, this is like the star-studded cast.
Yeah.
Because you already had some of the most famous voice actors playing the main characters.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Well, and the thing is, you have so many star fans of this sort of thing. There's videos out of stars. Vin Diesel, one of them,
right,
playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep.
And he's not sitting there saying, okay, so what do I do with this? And no, he knows. Yeah. He's been playing. It's obvious. Yeah. Joe Mantegna is another big one.
Yeah, Joe Manganiello.
Manganiello, yeah. And I believe he's played with Critical Role.
He actually was essentially the final boss, because they had their final boss in the first campaign. Vecna has this eye that, his necromancy allows him to see all this reality and whatnot. The hand that raises things from the dead. Joe Manganiello's character cuts off Vecna's arm and cuts off his own, and then replaces his arm with this necromancer's, and then leaves. And so he still exists in this world somewhere, which is now official D&D canon, because that character also appeared in a source book from Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, wow.
And they're actually about to release their third Exandria campaign setting. The second of which, the first of which they just released themselves through Darrington Press, their print publication. Yeah. The second one was Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, which is released by Dungeons and Dragons. Mm-hmm. And the third one, called The Netherdeep, which comes out March, is also Wizards of the Coast released. So they kind of moved up in the world from a little, dinner table game that they hosted for two friends for their birthday that happens to be on the same day, that play the twins, Vex and Vax, to now you actually are officially licensed Dungeons and Dragons properties.
Wow.
And an amazing Amazon Prime series. So yeah, definitely go check it out.
I haven't watched it yet, but yeah.
It's fun. It's funny. There's all kinds of, the series is definitely, it tells its own story, as far as what it's wanting to tell. The fun bit is that there's all kinds of little nods for the critters, for the fan base. There's all sorts of little, bits and jokes that you pick up on that if you hadn't watched the 100 and whatever number of episodes, you probably missed, but you're not missing much. Yeah. It's just one of those, thanks for being here.
Yeah. And it's a neat thing to add, being a DC fan, watching Peacemaker, and they would make references their reference to, he used to work with Matter Eater lads. Says, I watched him eat a whole Denny's once. You can't unsee that. And you're just like, I love that. Yeah. and a lot of people are gonna be like, I don't know who that is. They made up a character name.
No, Matter Eater lad was an actual superhero. It was a weird superhero.
He was awesome.
A superhero nonetheless.
I love Tenzo Kim. Legion of Superheroes. Yeah, he was from the planet Bismol. His people could eat anything. Yes.
And when they were done, they needed bismuth.
So yeah, there's that. There is a movie out I want to talk about before we run out of time. And I'm so tempted to grab you and take you to go watch it with me when it comes out. When it comes out, it is out. It's in theaters. It's in theaters here in town now.
Okay.
It is a movie called Studio 666, created by Dave Grohl.
Whoa.
Starring Dave Grohl and the rest of the Foo Fighters.
Okay. And what is this regard? What?
The mock-up, the write-up they have on the Allen Theater site. Legendary rock band Foo Fighters move into an Encino mansion steeped in grisly rock and roll history to record their much-anticipated 10th album. Once in the house, Dave Grohl finds himself grappling with supernatural forces that threaten both the completion of his album and the lives of his band.
So it's Dave Grohl as Dave Grohl, directed by Dave Grohl.
Yeah. Basically,
so we're looking at a Hard Day's Night version of Amityville Horror.
Sort of.
It's Foo Fighters, The Pick of Destiny.
So Dave Grohl, a few days ago, they released his episode. He was on a show called Hot Ones, Great show.
Yep.
Basically, it's a show where, and I mean, Sean Evans hosts it. He does this incredible job of digging into the people that are on the show and coming up with questions that are not normal questions. He's looking into their lives and finding stuff that people don't even pay attention to. So they love the questions. The questions are really good. And you're doing it while you're eating progressively hotter hot wings.
Oh, I've seen. Meaning to try those.
Started out as a YouTube series.
Yeah, that's what I see on YouTube.
Yeah.
By the way, yes, Dave Grohl is a rock star technically because he is a rock star.
Oh, big time.
By the time you watch him at the end of the show, Dave Grohl is a freaking rock star with these wings.
Man.
He is. He handles it really well. But he starts talking about this deal. Basically, when he writes, he likes to be by himself, and he doesn't write in his home or in a studio or a writing studio. He actually will go out and find a place out in the boondocks and rent it to write in. Well, he found this old hotel and rented it to write in, and it was really creepy. And he's sitting there writing this, and his mind wanders because he's not terribly focused ever. And he starts thinking about, man, this would be a great place for a horror movie. And he was thinking, well, maybe I get the guys out and we could just film something, bring our camera phones and stuff and just film something. And basically, he pitched this idea to the guys. Says, how about if we do a movie out here? Basically, we're us, and I get possessed by a demon and I kill all of y'all. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And the next thing you know, a studio gets involved. And they get some serious money behind it. He's like, this is really happening. This is a stupid idea with a bunch of guys hanging out who normally would just put together something that nobody else would ever see. It's now going to be a movie. It is a movie. It is done. Is
this the Dave Grohl movie, or is this the story of the Ninja Turtles?
Same thing. Just a lot more blood in one.
A stupid joke amongst friends, and people went, that could make money.
Yeah.
Make it.
Oh, yeah. So, it looks kind of cool and, silly, funny. Yeah. It is rated R, so of course not for kids. For strong, bloody violence and gore, pervasive language.
Gee, you think?
I don't know what pervasive means. And sexual
it's
content.
Like preforming.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Isn't all language pervasive except in cultures that only speak in grunts? By definition.
I mean, I suppose it's better than persuasive language.
There is that. Yeah. This is out this week. And
Studio 666.
Wow.
Studio 666.
All right.
I think it's going to be cool. I may sneak off to watch this at some point. It looks awesome just because they're in it.
Yeah.
And I like that sort of stuff. There was a movie that came out a few years back called Range 15. And it was the guys from Article 15 Clothing and Ranger Up Productions, basically two veteran organizations. One of them stationed in El Paso, Article 15, and they hired veterans. They were very good about giving back to the veteran community. Article 15 evolved. Because that was Matt Best's organization. He got involved with Evan Halfer and started Black Rifle Coffee Company that we all know today. But they did a movie. They wanted to do a movie. They were like, we need to do a movie because all these movies, veterans hate them if they got military stuff because they get it all wrong. So we can do one and make it right. Well, by the time these idiots got done with it, they decided it was also going to be a zombie movie. And they just got silly. And it's another case. They did a crowdsourcing thing on GoFundMe, and they hit their goal. And then they hit another goal, and another goal, and another. And they end up with all this money. So they were able to pay a lot of high-profile actors to be in the movie. Plus, they had actors like William Shatner, Danny Trejo, who donated their time. Says, we don't want to be paid. We want to just be a part of this. Danny Trejo wanted to be in it because they had 3 Congressional Medal of Honor winners in the movie, and he wanted to meet them. That was his payment.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And he was fanboying all over these guys. Cool. And it's a silly movie, but it's so much fun. Once again, not for kids, but I do have a copy if anybody wants to ever see it because it's really good. But
speaking of upcoming events, there, Randy, and you mentioned a name there. El Paso Comic-Con is also right around the corner.
Is
It's
it
coming
really?
up mid-April.
Oh.
Not Danny Trejo, but the other name you mentioned.
Oh, William Shatner.
Yeah.
You know, I would be so excited about William Shatner if I hadn't mentioned Danny Trejo. Okay, William Shatner is still cool.
Yeah.
He did confirm.
Cool.
He will be.
Wow.
Yep, William Shatner, who his last year doing conventions was going to be the last year that he was scheduled to come, which was 2020.
2020.
And then that didn't happen. And then they did El Paso Comic-Con last September, and he was not available. But they did finally get the confirmation. Not only will William Shatner be there, so Captain James T. Kirk, Giancarlo Esposito, Moff Gideon from
he wasn't able to make it the last time around.
Yeah,
so
there was a shooting conflict because he was doing Star Wars things. Mick Foley. Yeah.
Really?
Okay, you got his attention now.
Mankind. Dude Love. Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
You're
the
not
man, the myth, the man full of thumbtacks.
It didn't used to be this way, but now when you've got a Comic-Con, you've got some wrestlers that are there. That community's been kind of enfolded in.
Yeah. Long-running commissioner of the WWE, Mick Foley.
Yeah, I read his autobiography, and it's just he's just an incredible. He's basically built a career from being nuts.
Yeah. Well, and you like music, right?
Yeah.
Danny Partridge.
No way.
Yeah.
Danny Bonaducci.
Danny Bonaducci.
Yep.
I read his book too. That is something.
And
I went through a phase where I was just reading all these autobiographies. Every WWE character that wrote it, I read it. And
I
Danny
read.
Bonaducci did one, and that was just like amazing.
I remember reading The Rock's autobiography. Yeah. And that's a story right there.
That is a huge story. My favorite Danny Bonaducci story is because if you look at the first episode of the Partridge Family, David Cassidy was the only musician.
Yeah.
Because you could see Danny Bonaducci strumming his bass like this. He's doing
everyone
this
else
with
was
his
faking
bass.
it. They're like,
and he's walking over and goes, "It's a bass. You pluck it. You pluck it like this." And then it was like the second or third episode that he finally started, doing this to the bass. But it was funny to watch. And I remember seeing it going, "Oh my gosh, he's right."
I'm not sure what the Partridge Family was. That was way before my time.
Yeah, sure.
as we are months apart in age.
Yeah.
So sorry, old man. What can I say?
That is really cool.
Yeah. So, and that's just a few of them. So there's tons more that are announced on there. I don't. There might be a couple more that haven't been announced, but if they are, I've forgotten it by now. Mm-hmm. I've slept since then, and probably not enough.
Yeah. Well, you need to get Felicia Day out because
I wish.
I know she's married, has a child, but I am going to be her next husband.
I have put the bug in the boss man's ear every year. I'm like, Felicia Day. No. Will Wheaton. No.
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion. Mm-hmm. No. Patrick Stewart. Oh, too expensive.
Oh, way too expensive.
Any of the people from Critical Role.
Okay.
No. Okay.
Go back. Felicia Day. Why?
So Felicia Day is they called her the nerd queen for a very long time. She was in a number of series. She was in Buffy a little bit originally.
She was in Buffy a little bit. She's done a lot of cameo shots in a bunch of shows.
Yeah, she's been in a ton of things, but she's usually one of those characters you wouldn't really recognize unless you were looking for her. She's just been like in nerd culture forever. Years ago, she produced her own web series called The Guild.
Yeah. And which is basically what we're looking at now with these Jumpstarter programs and all, except she did it herself.
Right.
Basically, all she could afford to do was pay for the equipment to film it and a craft food table. And everybody else donated their time to star in it. Her big thing was if they're going to come and donate their time, they're going to get fed.
Yeah. Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to look her up because I'm sitting there going, is she the redhead?
She's adorable little redhead.
She was she's been little,
Yes, she's been in
and she is adorable in every single role she does.
Yes.
That that one character, but she's always cast for it. It's so
she was in season 1 of Con Man, where she was basically at the con with Tudyk,
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk, and she was the liaison for the con, and she would always, every time that he'd walk into a room, she'd be there dressed exactly like him, because in case he needed a decoy, she would sit there and pretend to be him, and then she could lure people away. And they're like, yeah, right. Actually, at one point, she does. She basically gets up there and says, I'm a raging dick that only cares about myself," and they says, "That's him."
I think was she in Eureka?
I don't know. I haven't actually seen it.
She was in a number of like
even the
sci-fi
series and
stuff. Yeah,
the famous One Time in Bandcamp.
No, that so it looks very
Hannigan.
Similar.
So that was not her.
Easily to confuse. Yes.
Okay.
Allison Hannigan was also in Buffy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's not that red, but very similar. And she's told a number of stories. She's like, if ever Allison Hannigan's busy, you can always call me.
Oh yeah.
I got my white people crossed up.
Looks.
Yeah, they all look the same.
We all do.
They look alike. Gotcha.
But no, she's been in a number of things. She started Geek and Sundry, with a number of her friends, including Will Wheaton, who was they had become friends just through convention scenes because she was doing the Guild and all this. Well, he ended up becoming a character on the Guild, and they hit it off. And then she had this idea for, Twitch in its infancy, before everyone was streaming, and you have people making billions with a B every month.
Yeah. She never got that money.
No.
Oh, wow.
She was like, what if somebody just did nerdy stuff? Like, I'll do, a book club and a podcast. Will you come play board games? Well, actually it was before Twitch even. It was YouTube. And she just got together with a bunch of her friends who all worked in the industry, who were all actors or creators of some form, and put together these shows. And then that was kind of one of the first channels that started doing this, multimedia nerd casting. Yeah. And then Will Wheaton's Tabletop took off, and that brought about the second renaissance of board games, where you had half of our store was board games.
Yes. Yeah, he was basically running a show where he just got together with people and played board games.
He just played board games with celebrities.
And it worked. Nobody thought that was going to work at the time. Critical Role wasn't really known by people.
Critical Role hadn't started.
Oh, that's right. It hadn't.
It hadn't. Because So the roundabout way, through their crowdfunding on Indiegogo for season 3 of Tabletop, which I was a backer of, they hit a stretch goal for Will Wheaton to film his own RPG that he wrote with his son Ryan called Titan's Grave. One of the actors on the series was Laura Bailey. Like a week after the first episode of Titan's Grave airs on Geek and Sundry, Critical Role airs, and Laura Bailey's on it. And I was like, oh, well, I liked her in this Titan's Grave. I should give this a look. And I watched it, and this is one of the most successful properties on the internet now.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. Oh, okay. It looks like it's on Prime Video now.
Yes.
The Guild. It's so worth watching. Yeah. Because no budget. And it's basically her writing this stuff and her sense of humor coming through, and it's funny. It's basically when she was homeschooled, she didn't go to public school. She was kind of a sheltered kid, and she reached a point in her life she became incredibly addicted to World of Warcraft. Well, in the Guild, they're playing a game that it's basically World of Warcraft. They just give it a different name for
licensing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
you have to pay Blizzard for that name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she basically is part of this guild that plays this game, and they're online. They're friends, but they've never met.
Right.
And one of the characters basically has a big crush on her, and she says the wrong thing. Something about maybe we should meet up someday. It's a blow off thing. Everybody knows it's a blow off thing.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's at her front door, and as she basically calls the rest of the guild for help, they end up all meeting in real life eventually, and end up becoming these weird group of friends and getting close to each other and growing because of it. It's a really cute little series. Every episode is real short. I think 3 to 8 minutes.
It started out much shorter. They got longer as they went because
Yeah.
they started to develop a budget as they developed a fan base.
Yeah.
Wow.
And by the time you get to one of the seasons ends with them going to a con. It's basically a con for the game. It's a Comic-Con sort of thing.
Got it.
And there are stars like crazy, and they didn't get paid. They wanted to be a part of it.
That's
Kevin Sorbo is in this episode.
Hercules.
What's her name? The guy that played Wilma Deering in Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
And of course, the
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton, yeah. The ultimate Stan Lee gets kidnapped by one of the characters.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there at the very end. They finally, he comes to the realization this is wrong. So I'm going to do the right thing and let Stan Lee go. And they release him. And Stan Lee comes up, puts his hand on his shoulder, says, son, says, I have created some of the greatest superheroes ever in history. And he just walks away.
You're waiting for the but you are.
Yeah, there ain't none of that.
He just, I have created some of the greatest superheroes in history. Walks off.
And he's saying, I thought there was something else coming. No.
So what's great about it is you're watching a antisocial outcast group of nerds with no life. It opens with like a video vlog of Felicia Day talking into her webcam about like, I still don't have a job. I'm thinking, I've been talking with my therapist. Maybe I'll be able to go out there and talk to people soon. And it culminates with her getting a job, getting her life together. Everyone's, become mildly well-functioning members of society. Yeah. And it goes to show that, it takes a look behind the nerdy outcast people are people too.
Oh yeah.
And this was the first series that wasn't, Revenge of the Nerds. It's a pocket protector and the horn rim glasses with the tape on it and a white shirt.
These are regular people that are just awkward. Yeah. In normal situations. And by the way, these were all unknowns.
Yeah.
Now you have Jeff Lewis, a stand-up comedian, and he's been in a lot of different shows and cameo roles. Amy Okuda, cutie. And she's doing a lot of movies right now. Sandeep Parikh is all over the place.
He's a comedian as well.
He's doing some stuff in front of the camera. He's doing a bunch of stuff behind the camera. So this was a launching pad for people, because whether or not, and the thing is, most of the people involved in the Hollywood scene that they were nerds, but there was also something about it from a production value, seeing these people put something together with nothing that it fired the interest of a lot of people, and this series just became a huge cult classic. They've actually they couldn't afford to do it at first. They have released it. It's available on DVD, so you can actually buy the DVDs.
That it's rumored, now it's not confirmed, but it's rumored that Joss Whedon took his inspiration for Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, which also had Felicia Day in it,
right,
from the Guild, because the story is Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah. Neil Patrick Harris telling the story into a webcam about him being a supervillain, and it's a musical. Him being a supervillain and how he's, I'm going to talk to the girl at the laundromat this week. Meanwhile, he's a supervillain. And the love interest is Felicia Day. Well, these are all these were friends of Joss Whedon's, and they were like, well, there's a writer's strike. None of us can work right now. We'll just come and volunteer to do this because we want to keep creating something. And the rumor, as I hear it, was that the inspiration for that idea was from Felicia Day's The Guild.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the official companion book. Plus, they did a comic book miniseries that I have as well. But she's the one in the front in her little costume.
Okay.
Yeah, she's adorable. She's incredibly smart.
And as another segue, we were talking about internet and Critical Role and whatnot. In a roundabout fashion, you now have on Felicia Day's Twitch channel the cast of the Guild playing an RPG as their characters.
Oh man,
in the game.
That's cool. I want to see that.
Yeah,
and they're all
back.
There. Oh,
and it's Abria Iyengar, who is an incredible dungeon master, incredible creator. She's worked with Dimension 20. She did Exandria Unlimited for Critical Role. Just like she's just a bright and cheery person and has a brilliant mind. Is being the DM for this group of idiots that self-proclaimed. I didn't.
Oh yeah.
They're like
they are the nerds.
Way to put
DM
it.
to this group of idiots. Like that's their word.
So Robin Thorson is in there. I love her. She played a character named Clara, who was
stay-at-home mom.
Stay-at-home mom. Comically amoral. Yeah.
Locks the kids up in a playpen, but forgets that the playpen's around a bunch of power sockets.
Yeah.
But
oh my gosh.
Oh god, it's
That's
10.
Hilarious.
Yep.
Yes.
We did 2 hours.
Wow.
And I know we didn't even cover half of what we could have.
Oh no. There's so much more. We didn't even talk about Flashpoint.
Didn't even talk
you
about Flashpoint.
Talk about Elseworld stuff. That's coming too. Keaton is Batman. There, I said it.
Yeah. Didn't talk about the fact that the Snyderverse is coming back. I figure if I say it enough times, it'll eventually happen. Okay. Just give it to me.
Yes. Cowboy Bebop season 2. Cowboy Bebop season 2. Cowboy Bebop.
No more Firefly. No more Firefly. No reboots. No reboots. No reboots.
I'll wish in one hand and create waste in the other, and we'll see which.
Yeah, I know which one's going to get full first. It won't even be close.
I'm already full of it. So,
dude, it is so good to have you back on.
Thank you, man. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Before we go, just to mention, and hopefully there's to segue way off of this, but just we have to mention there's something very, very serious going on. Of course, Ukraine, and just be in prayer for those people.
Yeah,
just be in thoughts and prayers for those people, and that they just for them.
Yeah.
There's some really neat stories coming out of there, and it'd be nice to see something positive come out of this.
Right.
Yeah.
But just want to mention that so that we can all be in prayer for them. But again, this was a whole lot of stuff at once.
You survived it.
Wow, I did. I think I followed some of it.
We got to talk Star Wars.
That's true.
We made sure there was Star Wars.
As long as we talk a little Star Wars, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good. And dang, a lot going on.
Oh yeah.
So, and again, you can catch Trevor. You can find him at Zia Comics over on Main Street in the Plaza. Just any questions, just ask him.
Oh, and one last thing, they're doing a pinball tournament.
Oh,
or
pinball something. So it's a pinball beginners class. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a lot about it. This is not one of the events I coordinated. It is exciting. I had no idea of it until I saw it. I was like, oh, this is news to me.
Yeah.
But one of our pinball techs, not one of the pinball tech that we have, is going to come in. He's going to teach a beginner's class to pinball, so that people aren't like, a lot of people don't realize this, but you don't have to pull the plunger back all the way and slam it forward. No. And you don't have to sit there and hit the buttons constantly like that. You can actually use skill with those games.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's this foregone concept. Yeah. It also breaks them less often.
That's true.
You play it right. And then we don't have to call our tech is up. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a, hey, learn how to be a better pinball player. You want to be a pinball wizard. Oh, that throwback is.
There you go.
There you go.
No, there is more. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, but then after a while, I'm like, why do I want the ball to go all the way over there? I want it to go right there. Right. So then you start messing with it there.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody can be a deaf, blind, and dumb kid.
There you go.
Right. Anybody who's not getting that reference, before you get irritated, I'm marginalizing any group. Yeah. Listen to the Who.
Yeah. All right.
Man.
Thanks again.
Yeah, this was cool.
Thanks a lot, Trevor.
Thank you.
And we'll
catch him over there while you still can. Otherwise, you'll have to go all the way to Alamogordo for him.
Right. Rather than listen to me talking about what's coming out, just come in. We open it. We're open noon to 7 today.
Noon to 7.
Come and get your books.
Absolutely.
And if not that, then catch me at karaoke or Rad on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Or Tuesday. It wasn't last night because it was Mardi Gras.
Noon to, what are the hours? The week? Does it
yeah. So it's noon to 7, right? Pretty uniform. We open at noon every day.
Okay.
So if you show up before then, the door won't open.
You have to wait.
Because I still have people like, oh, I thought you guys were closed. Well, when were you here? I was here like 7 a.m. during farmer's market. Dude, no nerd gets up at 7 a.m. Stop it. I don't get up. The earliest I get up is once a month for this show.
There you go.
So we are open noon to 7 Monday through Thursday, noon to 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday, and noon to 6 on Sunday because we close an hour early on Sunday because I'm tired.
Very cool. And hopefully we'll see you again next month.
Yeah.
Until you're on your way out.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think we need to get a week where we get him on and we get Zeta on as well.
Oh yeah.
And especially talk about some of the stuff she does.
Well, let's plan on when we find out when you're leaving, and we'll make sure we get you on once before, regardless of what time of the month it is. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But we'll get you on right before you go.
By the way, that's why I'm gonna lead into that show.
Yeah, it's this time of the month.
Yeah.
Well, we could also schedule this new singer-songwriter for a musical guest, even maybe.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm just getting comfortable with that term. Okay.
There we go.
I actually said it without sitting there and stumbling over the words. So
fair.
That's a first. I'm enjoying it. The writing especially.
Look out, folks. He's got some good stuff, and it's gonna come out, and it's gonna
it's gonna explode on the internet, and he's gonna become famous.
Yeah.
Then,
oh yeah, that's right.
Then none of us will be on this show anymore.
Yeah.
We'll all be replaced with Neil Patrick Harris and Nathan Fillion and Felicia Day.
Yeah. And I won't be sitting here. I'll be sitting here, and Felicia Day will be on my lap. That will be in the contract. There's nothing sexist about that.
There we go.
She's just lighter than the rest of them. That's all.
Nathan Fillion is a thick gentleman.
He is.
He's broad shoulder.
You know what? Got to say it. No matter what he's done weight wise and age wise, that is a pretty man.
Captain.
Man. Captain type pants.
Oh, we are so done.
You guys.
Good night.
See y'all next week.
Bye.